Understanding chord inversions might be one of the most important things you can learn as a piano player. Knowing chords and their inversions will help you to unlock the keyboard, it'll allow you to play songs in so many different keys, and it gives a fun variety to the way you play your chords. So let's take a look at how inversions work. Let's start with a C major chord. A C major chord is built up of 3 notes, C, E, and G. Now, when we have a chord in this position, it kind of looks like a snowman. We've got 3 notes stacked nicely on top of each other. So when the notes are set up in this way, we call it root position. So we've got our snowman shape, and we've got our 3 notes nicely stacked thirds apart, and our bottom note is what we call the root note, and it's called that because it gives us the name of the chord that we're playing. For example, because C is my bottom note here, I know that I'm playing a C chord. If I move my hand and build a chord with my bottom note being F, we would call this an F chord. Same for G. G is my bottom note or my root note. We're in a snowman position, so this is called G chord. Now, the great thing about chords is that you don't have to play the notes in that specific order. You can invert them, and that's where things get really fun and exciting. So in order to understand how inversions work, all we need to do is look at the notes in a different order. Let's shuffle them. We're going to take this bottom root note and we're going to put it on top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my thumb and I'm going to put it on the E, and then I'm going to use my 2 finger and take over the G, and then I'm going to take the C, that was my root note on the bottom, and place it on top. So now I've got the same 3 notes, I'm just playing them in a different order. And what that gives me is an inversion of the C chord. Same chord, it sounds a little bit different because your ear gravitates towards the very top note. So if you hear it in root position, you get this, and if you hear it in this inversion, it sounds like this. We call this first inversion, and the easiest way to determine which inversion you're playing a chord in is by looking at where the root note is. It's not on the bottom, we're not in root position. Our root note is in the top, so we will call this first inversion. You can think of it as the root note is in the first spot, the top spot, first inversion. Now let's shuffle these notes again. So I'm going to place my thumb from E up to G. I'm going to replace this C here with my 3rd finger, and then the E that was previously on the bottom will go to the top. So now we have another inversion of a C chord. The root note has traveled from the top 1 spot down to the 2nd spot, so we'll call that second inversion. Now if we do the juggling act one more time by placing my thumb where my 3rd finger is, replacing the E here, and then putting the G that was previously on the bottom to the top, we land right back in root position. So all together we've got root position, first inversion, second inversion, and back to root position. So why are these inversions so important? They're important because when you're chording a song, they're going to allow you to move between chords really efficiently. For example, if I'm playing a song that moves from C to F, and I don't feel like bouncing my hand up and down the keys like that, I can choose to play an inversion of an F chord. I've got C, E, G, and I know that the notes of an F chord are F, A, C. So if I want to stay where I am, I can keep the C, move my 3rd finger up to F, my 5 finger up to A, and now I'm playing an F chord. So instead of doing all this moving around, I'm able to move between chords really efficiently, and it sounds nice. And as a piano player, it's going to give you variety and options as you create your music. And then, if we want to get really fancy from here, we could choose to move to an A minor chord because we know that an A minor chord has an A, a C, and an E. And look, I've already got A and C here. So all I have to do is swap my 3rd finger for my 2 finger, and I'm on A minor chord. So I can do these movements between chords almost seamlessly, and that's because I know my chord inversions. So when I was learning piano at the beginning, I was classically trained. Part of my daily routine was to play chord inversions every single day. And I never really understood why I needed to do that until I began to play music using chords. And all of a sudden, all of that hard work, those years of practicing those inversions, all clicked together, and I was able to play songs that I love, moving between the chords in any way that I wanted, and it sounded awesome. So how can you get good at learning and playing your chord inversions? The answer is practice them. So I'm going to show you how you can practice your chord inversions in each hand. I'll show you in the key of C, and then you can translate this to any key that you like and practice them at home. So what I'm going to do, here we go, here's our root position C chord. I'm going to play through the inversions first in solid form and then broken form. Solid means all 3 notes together, and in my root position I've got fingers 1, 3, and 5. Now as I invert it, I'm going to use fingers 1, 2, and 5, simply because it feels much more comfortable than this, and it'll give you more efficiency as you play inversions later on. So get into this habit. 1, 3, 5, 1, 2, 5. I'm going to invert one more time. Here we go. 1, 3, 5, and then I'm going to land back on root position. I'm going to go back exactly the way I came. Here's our 2 finger, and then back to root position. Now with my left hand, same idea, but the fingering is in reverse. So we're going to start in root position. Here we go. There's our root, 5, 3, 1. First inversion, 5, 3, 1 again. Second inversion, we've got 5, 2, 1, and then we're going to go one more time and land on our root position again with 5, 3, 1. Back down the way we came, we've got 5, 2, 1. Again, here's our first inversion, 5, 3, 1, and root position, 5, 3, 1. So really simple to play them solid. It does take practice. It can be tricky if you're new at this, but I promise it gets easier. And then you're going to want to practice them broken as well. So that means separate the notes. 1, 3, 5, 1, 2, 5, 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 5. Then we'll go 5, 3, 1, 5, 3, 1. Here's our 2, 5, 2, 1, 5, 3, 1. With our left hand, it looks like this. 5, 3, 1, 5, 3, 1, 5, 2, 1, 5, 3, 1. Let's repeat with the 1. 1, 3, 5, 1, 2, 5, 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 5. That's how you can practice your inversions. So my suggestion for you is that you practice these solid, you practice them broken, go hands separately, and then when you're ready, try them hands together, and work on getting confident on playing these inversions in every single key that you possibly can. It will help you so much as you continue to learn to play the piano. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you around.